Is now a good time to buy Costco stock? The late great investor Charlie Munger said, quote, "Find Costcos, not good exits." Charlie Munger was an expert on finding high quality businesses and holding them for the long run. And so he's saying Costco is a fantastic business. The latest headlines after earnings support this, a robust business model. But does a good business model mean a good time to buy the stock? Let's take a look at key quality, growth, and value metrics to analyze Costco. So here we are at ValueGlance.com. Let's go ahead to the Stocks tab and click on Costco. So we'll start off by looking at the quality. So here we're plotting the ROIC, return on invested capital, in blue compared to the weighted average cost of capital in orange. And what we notice is that over the last 10 years, Costco has maintained a high, steady, and increasing ROIC relative to the cost of capital. So that's the sign of a good quality business. If we go ahead and add in the invested capital, now we can look at the trend of both invested capital and ROIC. And what we notice is invested capital plotted here in blue on a log scale is that the invested capital continued to increase while ROIC was high. And so that's the fingerprint of a compounder stock. The business continues to grow, reinvest earnings, and keep those profits high and a high return on invested capital. So that's the hallmark of a high quality business and a compounder. Let's take a look at some key growth metrics. So we can clear out quality. Let's add in revenue and net income. So revenue shown in green is the top line. That's the sales coming in from goods and services. And then in red, we have the net income. That's the bottom line profit. Now we're looking here on the log scale. So a straight line means exponential growth. And the slope of that line tells us how fast the exponential growth is growing. And so we can see for decades, Costco has maintained steady exponential growth of both bottom line and top line. We could see there is a little bit of flattening out here. Of course, when you're making $60+ billion in sales per quarter, it gets harder and harder to grow. So that's not surprising, but nonetheless, this rate of compounding has continued for Costco. So we have a high quality business. It is maintaining that growth. What about value? Is now the right time to buy the business? And here we can see the hype factor in green compared to the equilibrium hype in pink. Now zooming in over the last 10 years, what we see is the hype factor for Costco has been increasing and really taking off in 2023, 2024. The hype factor is way above the equilibrium hype. And so what this is telling us is that the market is valuing Costco at the peak hype level compared to the entire history of the company. So even though we have a high quality business, even though the growth seems robust and is continuing to compound, if the market acknowledges that Costco is a great company, maybe it's not the best time to buy. Now, this doesn't mean Costco is necessarily in a bubble, because even high quality companies, they can go through bubbles, but at the same time, it could also mean their growth is slowed compared to other opportunities in the market. So what do you think? Is now a good time to buy Costco? Remember, no one has a crystal ball and can predict what's going to happen tomorrow, especially in the short term. But by studying these long-term trends of key growth, quality, and value metrics, we can avoid getting caught up in the latest nonsense news headlines and invest for the long term.